Oh my goodness. Hello. It has been more than a hot minute since I was on YouTube last, and certainly quite a while since I was on YouTube doing a card-related divination video. And there's various reasons for that are too long and boring to go into. But suffice to say, I'm back, and I'm back with a card-related divination video, and I'm very excited about it. I think that this has the potential to be extremely powerful and useful for you, and I can't wait to share it with you, because what we're going to do today is an intuitive reading for your creative business or whatever creative endeavor you're involved in. But since many of my audience are in the entrepreneurial space, then I thought I would focus on that. But anything that you are working on from a creative point of view in your life or career at the moment, then this intuitive reading would be for you. And I'll go into the detail of how it's going to work in a second, but suffice to say it involves 7 different decks and 7 different cards. And it's all very exciting, and yeah, I can't wait to get dug in and stuck in. So before I do that, while I remember, I do want to just let you know, if you haven't seen it already on my social media, that I am running a free workshop on the 19th of May, not on YouTube, not on Facebook, but on Zoom. And it's on abundance in soul-based creative business. Basically, I've had lots of questions from people asking me about the process of working as a soul-based entrepreneur, and how did I do it? How did I build my 6-figure business working in this soul-based space, using my creative interest in writing and tarot and divination and mysticism and magic and business and all that kind of stuff? How did I do it? What have I got to share about it? How can others do it? And so, I've been thinking about how to do this for quite a while, and I thought, why not just put it, as much as I can anyway, into an online workshop for about 90 minutes. And it's about some of the strategy of doing all of those things. It's also about the mindset and the magical approach of doing all those things, and that's really what the focus of the workshop is going to be. It's called Prosper, Build Your Abundant Coaching Biz. And as I say, it's on the 19th of May. I'll put a link down below in the description, and if you sign up, then you'll have the opportunity to also register for the live class, which happens on the 19th of May. And I encourage you to do that if you possibly can. If you're interested in coming, I'd really encourage you to come to the live class, because we will be doing some group activities, trance work activities, possibly some cards will be involved, who knows, but certainly it will be a group experience. And I think you all know that when we do group collective experiences together, they can be extra powerful. But if you can't attend live and you're still interested in the class, then just sign up and you will be sent the replay once it's happened. And it happens in a couple of weeks, the 19th of May. So with that out of the way, I will get on to our intuitive reading. And this really came about mainly through a kind of intuitive download that I had the other day, where I thought, I want to share something with my YouTube channel because it's been so long since I've been on. What could I do? And I decided I would do an intuitive reading, and I'm going to guide you into this reading. We'll go into a trance kind of state. Don't obviously do that part if you're driving or operating heavy machinery. Isn't that what they say? I don't know how many people are actually operating heavy machinery when they're in the middle of watching a YouTube video, but just in case, don't do the trance part. But I'll guide you into a kind of meditative state, and then we'll do the selection of the cards. Just to say as well that I actually thought about doing this video live, because I know that a number of you like live videos, particularly when it involves an actual reading. But the reason I didn't, and it's not to say that I won't do live readings in the future, I'm sure I will, but the reason I didn't want to do this one live is because I know from experience, because I do live divinatory practices in many of my coaching containers, my group coaching containers, and what I find is that people love them and get a lot from them, but people often feel that they miss out if they aren't able to attend live. If they, they can always catch up on the replay, but people tend to feel that they've missed out if they're not attending live. My view on that is that yes, as I've just said, there is a power and a dynamism involved in attending something live and being there in real time. But my strongly held opinion is that you can make any divinatory experience, including a recorded one, absolutely the most powerful it can be through your intention to get what you came for in terms of wisdom from the reading. So what I'm saying to you is that despite the fact that this is not live, I want you to treat it as though it were live. Also, I want you to treat it as though the reading were specifically for you, because it is. I know that you're probably thinking there's lots of other people watching this video, but really it's just you and me and our 7 decks. And that's the mindset I want you to go into this with, because this reading is for you and it is specific to you, and I mean you. So what I want you to do is to think about, just let it come to you naturally, to think about what you would like some guidance on within your creative life. Just think broadly of a particular issue or topic or area of your creative life or business that you would like some guidance on. And if you're ready, we will commence the process. Now, just to give you a bit of information, I've got my 7 decks arranged here. What I have done is I have already, before I came on camera, I have already gone into my own meditative state and shuffled the cards, holding the intention of creating a powerful, intuitive reading for you. And what I'm going to do as we go through the reading now is I'll shuffle each of the decks one more time and then select a card by cutting the deck and taking the card that is on the top after I've cut the deck. So we're just very clear about what the process will be, the fact that it's already begun. I've already put energy into making sure that the decks are shuffled with the intention of doing this reading for you. And the next part, and here's a really exciting bit, this is something else I believe, and you might think this is completely woo-woo and out there, but I want you, as you watch me shuffle the decks and select the cards, I want you to put your intention into the idea that the right card is going to come up for you because of the intention you're putting into it. So this is where we are stepping out of the boundaries of space and time. I'm recording this at 7:22 p.m. on, what's this, the 6th of May or something? I'm not even sure what day it is. It's Monday anyway, it's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. No, it's not the 6th, it's the 8th, isn't it? Is it the 8th? I'm completely confused. We've had the King's coronation this weekend, so it's just completely confused me. It's the 8th. I'm recording this at 7:23 now on the 8th of May 2023. You might be watching this video on the 17th of October 2056. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I want you to watch this and to put your energy into the process of me selecting the card. And my belief is that wherever you are in space and time, you are participating in this particular reading that you are watching now. So, with that said, here's how we're going to do it. I'll guide you into a relaxed state, and then I'll ask you to do something, and then we'll proceed. So, let's begin. Just get comfortable in your chair, wherever you're sitting, or standing, or lying. And just take a couple of relaxed, deep breaths, nothing forced. Just a couple of relaxed, deep breaths, and feel yourself relax. Just let your shoulders relax, and your head and your neck. If you've got headphone cords getting in your way, untangle them so that they don't cause any problems. Just take another breath. And now we're going to take 3 deep intentional breaths, and with each one we're going to relax further and slip into a meditative, calm, deep state of relaxation. Breathe in for 1. Hold briefly at the top, and then just gently release. Let the air out and all the tension flows out with it. Take a normal relaxed breath in between, and another deep breath, our second. And with this one, as we breathe in and breathe out, we're slipping deeper into relaxation. Breathe in. Hold briefly at the top, and then release. Feel all that tension just slipping away out of you. And then our final deep breath. Breathe in. Hold at the top, and release. Let the air just gently empty from your lungs. And now just continue to breathe naturally, steadily, calmly. And recognize that you're now in a deeper, more relaxed space. Simply because that's your intention. And what I'd like you to do is to choose a number between 1 and 7. Just let the number show itself to you. And notice how it does that. Maybe it appears as an image in your mind. Maybe you hear the number almost audibly in your head. Maybe it's just an intuitive sense of a number, a felt sense of a number. However it shows up, trust that the number you have been shown is the right one. Now, what I would like you to do, if you can, if you have paper and pen next to you, it doesn't matter if you don't, but if you have, write the number down. If you haven't, simply make a note of the number in your mind. Maybe imagine writing it down. I'll give you a moment to do that. So, you have your number written down, or in your head, written down in the imaginary paper in your head. That's your number. It's not the wrong number. It doesn't need to be changed. Let go of any residual feeling that you might have picked the wrong number. Or what if it's not the right number? It's the right number. You can't do this wrong. That's your number. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the 7 decks now, and in each one of those 7 decks I will select a card, and that will be the card related to that number. Deck number 1 and card number 1 for number 1. For number 2, if you chose 2, it will be deck number 2 and the card I choose from that deck, and so on. What I will do when this video is finished is I will put a timestamp in the YouTube description as to where each numbered card starts being discussed, so you can quickly find it if you need to, or if you want to rewatch it. Okay, so how exciting is this? So our first deck is, I'll show you the box before I show you the cards. It's the Affirmators deck, Affirmators Creativity deck, and I have just chosen these decks intuitively. I've gone through my collection and I've selected 7 decks, and these are the ones that stood out for me. So I am trusting that they are the right decks, and I ask you to trust that they are the right decks too. Set that intention and you'll get so much from this. So the Affirmators creativity deck, 50 affirmation cards to help you help yourself without the self-helpiness. So it's a kind of humorous deck in some ways. It's got some wit and humour and fun to it. That's the back of the cards. Lovely chameleon on a rainbow, and each card has got a kind of little picture and blurb on it, which I'll discuss with you when we select your card. So, card number 1. Shuffling. Okay, and now I'm going to cut, and we'll take the first card that comes up after I've cut, and it is abundance. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. It is a picture of a wishing well, and there are several happy looking little rainbows dancing around or bouncing around on top of the wishing well. The well itself is surrounded by flowers and stars. It's a very happy looking image, and this is what the card says. I celebrate the abundance of this wild, rambling, decadent universe we live in. I see abundance everywhere and recognize that it's an amazing law of nature. And so there's no need to worry my idea well will ever run dry. I can let ideas flow like a gigantor waterfall, then dream up new ones as I sleep under trillions of twinkling diamonds. Can you believe all this decadence is free? So, if you pick number 1, I am going to suggest to you that you have been feeling constricted in your business and lacking in your business. You've been feeling that you haven't figured out how to work hard enough to create abundance in your business, and that in order to have the kind of business you want, or the kind of creative process that you want, you need to work harder and find the right way of unlocking the abundance, the prosperity, the success, the achievement that you want. And this card is a reminder to you that the abundance you are seeking is you're already in it. There's no shortage of abundance, either in your life or your business or your creative process. But you are in a season of your business at the moment where you are somewhat blind to that, possibly for very good reasons. Perhaps you've had some hard knocks recently, some setbacks. Maybe it's been a struggle. This card is reminding you that there is abundance hiding in plain sight. And what's coming to me is a recommendation to you that you give yourself some permission to step out of the process of trying to figure out how to create more abundance, more prosperity, more money, more clients, more whatever it is in your business. Give yourself permission to step out of it. Maybe for an hour, maybe for a day, maybe even for a week. Maybe you need a holiday. Step out of it, give yourself some genuine downtime away from all of that, without thinking about the business as much as you're able to for that period of time, that bit of time that you carve out. Give yourself that. And then, after you've done that, make a list of all the abundance you are already aware of, and be literal. Nothing is too small. The ground that you walk on that is able to support you as you go from one business endeavour to another, the air that you breathe that keeps you alive, that allows you to continue in your business process. The people you meet, the clients, the colleagues, the partners, anyone that you meet in relation to your business, the tutors, the teachers, the guides, list them. List the ideas you have already had in your business, or have had and have not yet developed in your business. And then list the ideas you haven't had yet, but that are there hovering around in your consciousness. Just make a list without any expectation of what you'll do with that list. Just allow yourself to acknowledge the pool of abundance that you are already sitting in. Do that and see what happens. Okay. That was card number 1 from the Affirmators Creativity deck. Card number 2. This is from a slightly different kind of deck, not a visual deck. That was visual and words, that deck, the Affirmators. This is just words, and it's the Untethered Soul deck by Michael Singer. The Untethered Soul being the name of his wonderful book. Wonderful book of the same name, and highly recommended read. And here are the cards. Oops, that one has got back to front. So that's the backs of the cards, just the same as the cover. Freeing yourself. This is all about getting in touch with the part of you that is beyond the limitations of ego. That's how I would describe the book and the deck. And each card has got quotes on it from the book. Card number 2. We'll cut. And here we are. When a blockage gets hit, it's a good thing. It's time to open up internally and release the blocked energy. That's what it says on this card. So, if you chose card number 2, you have been experiencing a block of some sort lately. And I'm going to put it to you that you've been experiencing a rather specific block of some sort. As I'm saying this, that block is probably very present in your mind. It might be a circumstance you're in your business life or your private home life that is affecting your business or creative process. It might be a block that's internal, perhaps a thought that is troubling you, perhaps a worry that's niggling at you, maybe a regret for something you've done or haven't done. There's something there. It feels almost physical to you. It's something almost tangible. If it isn't physical, it feels that way. Something solid, and well, you think about how it feels. What I'd like you to do is try and let your senses show you how it feels. What does it look like? What kind of shape has it got? Even if it's intangible, just imagine if it was to show itself as a shape, what would that shape be? If it was to show itself as a colour, what would that colour be? Does it have a sound associated with it? Does it have a taste or a smell associated with it? Does it have a physical sensation associated with it? Just allow yourself to feel it. Just acknowledge it. Acknowledge its existence. You've maybe been turning away from it for a while, and you've noticed that the more you turn away from it, the more conscious of it you become. So just being gentle with yourself, turn towards it, just see what it has to show you, this block. And if it did have something to say to you, if it had something that it wanted you to know about it, and about your circumstance, what would it be? Just let that come to your mind. Maybe jot down some notes if anything appears. And if it feels like a physical sensation in your body, without allowing that sensation to become so intense it's unbearable, just notice the sensation and follow it wherever it wants to go. And you may notice as you put your attention on it and allow it to just move to wherever it needs to move, that it starts to dissipate. Maybe a lot, maybe a little, but a bit of dissipation. And if that is your experience, there's a reason for that. The reason being that when we put our attention on our feelings in relation to blockage, a feeling of that sort is always preceded by a thought. It might not be a conscious thought, but there's a thought behind the feeling. And when we put our attention on the feeling, it takes our attention off the thought, which allows the feeling to have its life and dissipate. So that's a practice you might want to try. The other practice that this card brings to mind, and I'm smiling at what I'm about to say, not at your situation of experiencing this block, which I feel will be difficult for you. I understand that this will be a difficult blockage for you to face. But what comes to mind for me is a process that I created for my coaching clients not all that long ago. And I'll share that with you now. I think it's a useful process to make you aware of, and I call it the shift the shit process. That's why I'm laughing. The shift the shit process. And here's how it goes. As I say, thoughts are the creators of our feelings, and the feelings that we sit in, whether it's a feeling of blockage or stuckness, very often determine our actions and therefore our results. So shifting our thoughts that are not helpful is a great way of opening things up for ourselves in life and business. So what I'd like you to do is to think of the thoughts. See if you can identify the thoughts that lie behind the feelings of stuckness. And it might be thoughts of unworthiness, it might be thoughts of, I don't have enough information to do this thing, I'm not good enough, nobody's listening to me, my work isn't valuable, I won't find any clients, I can't charge the prices I want to charge, nobody will buy my service. Whatever it is, see if you can identify the thoughts and just make a note of those thoughts. And the process really is very simple. Once you've got those thoughts written on paper, and I encourage you to write them on paper so that they're stopped on paper, not spinning in your mind, the first thing to do is to look at the thought and to consider the possibility that the thought may not be true, that the thought may not be absolutely true. It doesn't mean you have to completely let go of the belief. It might be very ingrained, but just consider the possibility that the thought that you're thinking that's causing you this feeling of stuckness isn't true. Once you've done that, consider what an alternative supportive thought might be. Now, you might feel ready when you look at the thought and open up to the fact that it might not be true. You might be ready to go the whole hog and come up with an almost opposite supportive thought. So, you know, if your thought is, I'll never find enough clients, you might come up with a supportive alternative thought that's something along the lines of, clients are everywhere in great supply, or I have no problem finding clients. Something that's opposite. If you can do that, great. That's your thought to use as an affirmation, as a touchstone to work towards. If that's too big a leap, and it may well be, then the thing to do instead is to come up with a bridging thought. And that's a thought that your brain is able to accept that isn't too much of a stretch. So it might be something like, I can research how best to find clients. Something that you could do that's tangible, that's acceptable to your brain, that isn't too much of a leap. So identify the thought that is behind any stuck feeling. Write it down. Consider the possibility that it may not be true. Look for alternative supportive thoughts. And if you can't go directly to an almost opposite supportive thought, use a bridging thought instead. And that, my friends, is the shift the shit process. So I encourage you, if you picked card number 2, to give that a go. Okay, moving on to card number 3. And this one is actually from a deck that I have reviewed on my channel called the Multi-Dimensional Divas by 𝗂𝗏. I've reviewed this deck, and I've also done an interview with 𝗂𝗏, which is on the channel. Actually, a couple of the decks here are decks that I've reviewed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link for you any of those reviews down below if you're interested in the decks, and I have spoken about them elsewhere. I'll put a link below. There is the back of the cards, and this deck is an oracle deck based on the concept of the divas, D-E-V-A-S, these elemental forces that operate in the multi-dimensional quantum realm. 𝗂𝗏 has a lot to say about all this in the book that accompanies the deck. Lovely sort of abstract, intuitive, art-based deck. Cards, and we have, now I think I'm correct in saying it's been a while since I worked with this deck. Look at that lovely image. It's an image of people, looks like kind of people on the earth. There's clouds and they're kind of ascending. It looks almost as though it's a person ascending upwards and transforming into almost an angelic being on the way up to the sun, or it could be that a person is communing with higher levels of existence. This card, I think, is called Dimension Shift. Dimension Shift. So, if you picked card number 3, you are on the cusp of a dimension shift, a quantum leap in your business. You're possibly aware of this already. It's possible that it's been playing at the sidelines of your consciousness recently. What I'm guided to say to you is that you need to get out of your own way. So any difficulty in stepping into that quantum leap, into that dimension shift, is something that you have got the power to dissipate. And what's most likely is that the reason that you're butting up against the possibility but feeling almost as though it's not quite there, it's just slightly out of reach, but it's there, you know it's coming, but it's not quite clear to you how to step into it, is simply that you probably are working within some conventional wisdoms in the business space. And the thing is, we all live in this apart from anything else, we all live in this kind of patriarchal, cis heteronormative society that is filters into everything that we do, and much of it is unconscious. And then we have the more specific restrictions within the business space. We have that kind of corporate culture mentality, the linear mentality, the idea that business has to be for extroverted people who have very rigid, specific strategic and business plans, and success is measured in linear upward growth, predictable upward growth, etc., etc. And I suspect if you have chosen this card, that you are you're doing a lot of thinking. You're spending a lot of time in your head trying to figure out what your next step is, whether you've got the right business plan, the right strategy in place, and you're not fully trusting your intuitive promptings. I see this card almost as being like a call from the spirit of your business, almost offering its hand to you, wanting to give you a leg up into the higher realms. And the way you will initiate this quantum shift, this dimensional shift, this quantum leap, is by taking the hand of your spirit, the spirit of your business, and taking the leap. And what I mean by that is, give yourself some time to think about the things that you know, and I mean know in the internal sense, that kind of gnosis, not necessarily the mental sense, that kind of inner knowledge you have of what you need to be doing next. And it might be some stuff that doesn't feel particularly conventional to you. This card is inviting you to trust that the universe has got your next best step in hand. Your job is to take the step. So what I would invite you to do is to give yourself some time. If you have a practice of some sort, either a meditative practice or an exercise practice or a hobby, anything that takes you out of your head. It might be a mystical, magical practice, or it might be something much more mundane than that. It might be golf. It might be something that just gets you out of your head for a period of time. I want you to specifically schedule some time for that practice, a bit more time than you would normally give the practice. Carve out some time out of your diary specifically for this practice. And before you go into the practice, I don't want you to make a big deal of this, but I want you to set the intention that as you're in that practice, the spirit of your business, which is both within you and beyond you, will converse with your subconscious, your higher self, however you want to conceive of that, and will show you the solution of your next step in a way that makes sense to you. So once you've done the practice, once you've had your round of golf or your meditation session, or you've gone and got some Reiki or whatever it is you do to get out of your head and relax, having set the intention that a conversation will happen between the spirit of your business and your higher self. Once you've done that, I want you to gently and with a light touch watch for signs for what to do next, and step into this with the knowledge and the belief that you will know them when they appear, and just allow that to be the case. You, my friend, are on the cusp of something big. So just listen. This is fun. That was number 3, wasn't it? I hope I've not lost count. Let me just check. That was 3, 4, 5. Yes. So we're on to 4 now. So let me just get the cards. So number 4. This is, and again, I have talked about this deck on my channel. I think I talked about it on a live that I did a while ago. So I'll find that and link it. It is the 40 Servants deck by Tommy Kelly, and The 40 Servants deck is an interesting one. It's a kind of occult deck, if you like, a magical deck, based on the concept almost of magical servitors, I think is probably the right term. The idea of entities that can work with, that are independent of us as a magical practitioner, but can work with us and bring us guidance, but also almost carry out tasks on our behalf. It's a really fun, interesting deck. So let's see which of the 40 servants, there are 40 of them, let's see which of them comes forward for you, number 4. So if you chose number 4, let's cut the deck. We have got, oops, where did it go? I dropped it. I don't know if that means anything. The Witch. The Witch. She is actually one of my favourite cards in this deck. The Witch. Okay. So, it's been a while since I used this deck, but if I remember correctly, I think Tommy Kelly says something about the Witch, and it's something along the lines of, I can't remember the exact word he uses, but the idea that the Witch is the entity that almost knits all of the 40 servants together. So what's exciting about this is you have got the card that encapsulates its own energy and also the essences of all the other 40 servants. So what this says to me is you have got some very powerful allies in the multi-dimensional realm. So if you're working on your business, you're probably very aware of the allies you have in the mundane world, the people that you are working with. If you have employees, the employees. If you have partners, the partners. If you have clients, the clients. You're probably very aware of, and I hope very appreciative of, all those people. What this card is inviting you to do is to get to know the allies that exist beyond the mundane world. And the Witch, as the name would suggest, is one of the 40 servants that invites you to notice the magic in your business. Now, in the previous card, if you haven't looked at the previous card, number 3, I talked in that one, in my reading for that one, about the concept of the spirit of your business. The spirit of your business is the soul of your business, or the genius of your business, however you want to describe it, is the idea that your business has a soul of its own, is an entity with a soul and a vibration of its own, and it's both connected to you because it's your business and also separate from you. And a really exciting and interesting concept to play with, and one that I've found profoundly useful as I've developed my business, is the idea that the soul of your business, the spirit of your business, the genius of your business, the demon of your business, however you want to see it, is looking for you just as much as you are looking for it. So as you're trying to build this business and grow this business and expand this business and make this business as successful as possible, it is stepping into view of you as you are stepping into view of it. It's a co-creative process. And the Witch has appeared to say that the co-creative process that you are engaged with in your business, yes, it has practical elements to it, but it also has deeply spiritual, soulful, magical elements to it as well. And it may be that the Witch has appeared to you at this particular moment in time, either because you have been neglecting that element of your business practice, probably for very, very good reasons. Maybe you've been too busy, maybe there's been other distractions. So maybe the Witch is appearing just to remind you, hey, I'm here, and you can work with me and with the spirit of your business, and we can make great magic together. Or it's coming to me that the Witch may well may well be appearing at this particular moment in time because you are about to need her in a way that's not yet apparent to you. And I don't mean that to sound alarming. I don't get a sense that it's a problem that's about to erupt. But I do get a sense that what's happening here, the dynamic here, is that an opportunity is arising or is about to arise in your business that will shift things forward, almost whatever happens. But if you engage the magic that's available to you, the magical practice, that shift will be even greater and more positive than it might otherwise have been. And the witch is popping up to say, I am here to be your ally. So how might we practically engage with this? Well, if you have the 40 Servants deck, and you don't have to, then obviously you could pop this card on your altar. You could go on the 40 Servants website and you can see the images there. So if you don't have the deck, you could always go on the website and connect with the witch there and read a bit more about the witch. I'm sure there's information on the website about each of the cards. The other thing, of course, to do is just to think about, what does witch mean to you in a positive sense? And how might you engage with that witch energy? Maybe you are a witch, or maybe you know a witch. So just think laterally about how you can connect with witch energy, magical energy, in the furtherance of your current business goals. But you have got some big players behind you at the moment. Number 4. I'm checking which number I'm in. You've got some big players behind you. Okay. That was number 4. Let's move on to number 5. So this is a cute little deck. This is the 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗍 Oracle. Look how cute and kind of almost eerie the 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗍 deck is. I love this deck. It's small, and some really lovely cards, lovely artwork. All these decks have got either great artwork or great quotes, so they're wonderful to be recommended decks. Oh, the back of this one, by the way. Lovely back with mushrooms and the moon and other vines. So, okay, let's see what the 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗍 has to say to you, number 5. You can bet they'll be direct. The 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗍 are always direct. Right, cut the pack. Pick the top card, which is keep going. Keep going. Trust in yourself. You have all you need. That's what it says. And I'm feeling a bit emotional with this card. There's this little forest creature, 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗍, with a knapsack on its back, the wind blowing in its hair. Looks like little seeds are coming out of its hair and scattering on the ground, and a glowing light in its heart, even hidden behind a thick garb. That heart is glowing forward and forth. So what I get from this card for you, number 5, is you have been on the verge of giving up. You may even be on the verge of giving up now. I feel a kind of, as I say, emotional feeling, my feeling of tightness in my chest, my throat. I think you have been through or are going through a struggle. in your business or your creative process, or in some area of your life that is affecting your business and your creative process. And there have been times when you have wondered whether it's worth the bother of continuing to do the work that you're doing, or to move forward with the plans you have for your business. And oh my goodness, this card has appeared to say to you, yes, it is worth continuing. So worth continuing. Keep going. One of the reasons, I'm not claiming to know all the reasons of why you've been struggling, but what will be underlying the struggle, almost guaranteed based on the fact that this card has appeared, is that you have been working on the assumption that you have got that you've got to have it all and be able to do it all in order to be able to move forward in your business. That it's all on you. That you've got to come up with all the creative ideas. You've got to come up with the plans. You've got to know exactly what to do in every eventuality. You've got to know how to pivot when things go wrong. You've got to know how to anticipate what might go wrong. You've got to learn all the kind of business stuff that proper business people learn or need to learn in order to move forward. This card is telling you, inviting you to notice that that's so not true. That what you really need is what's already inside you. And what you need more than anything else is to trust what's inside you and to let it out. You know, the image, what strikes me here is that glowing heart. Well, three things strike me about this card immediately. The knapsack, the sack on the back, everything, all the provisions you need in there. The heart, that glowing heart, that drive, that ambition, that love for your work, that thing that brought you into this work in the first place. It's maybe been covered up and cloaked for a while, but it's still there and it's ready to come out and burst forth. And the seeds. Look, just by standing still and existing, your value is in spreading seeds that will grow and flourish for the benefit of other people just by existing. You've been thinking you have to do more, you have to be more, you have to figure more out. And this card is saying to you, you are enough. You are more than enough. You are worthy beyond worth, just by virtue of existing. Now, if in fact you have been or are on the verge of giving up, I suspect that hearing some of that is going to be quite difficult, or is going to feel kind of unrealistic. So what do we recommend here? What's coming through for you? Okay, I'm just going with what's coming through, so take as much as you can, find value in, and leave anything you think is nonsense. Number one, I want you to reconnect with your why. Why did you get into what you got into in the first place? Forget what you think you should be doing and why you should be doing it. Why did you get into it? In your heart of hearts, why? Was it to express a talent that you know you have? Was it to offer a service that you know is needed and that you have got the ability to offer? Was it to bring into creation something that you felt moving through you? What was it? What was the reason you got into this? Reconnect with that, and I invite you to do it in a really respectful, honouring way. Don't. It's not a little thing. Your why. It's not a little thing. So just acknowledge it. That's the first step. That's the first step. Just acknowledge that why. The next level, if you're up for it, and if you feel strong enough to do this, I invite you to contact some trusted people in your life, people you know who value you, and ask them what they see in you in terms of talent and ability and potential. Now, clearly be careful of the people you ask. Do not ask anyone who there's even a glimmer of a chance will belittle you. That's not what this is about. Ask trusted people who respect you. And listen to what they say. And the third one, the third level that's coming to mind, and you may laugh, but it's coming through, so I've got to share it. If you haven't seen it already, watch It's a Wonderful Life, the James Stewart film. And if you have seen it already, watch it again. Unless you absolutely hate it, in which case you've got to pass on that one. But if you don't hate it, either if you've seen it or you've never seen it, watch it again. Okay, that was number 5. That's what I have got, and the cards I've got for number 5. 2 more cards. So if you chose number 6, your deck, again one that I've reviewed on my channel, is the gorgeous Green Wheel Oracle. An oracle for those who walk a path into the heart of the land, by 𝗿𝗓𝗏. And this is a lovely nature-based deck, as you can see. The backs of the cards are this lovely image, all 𝗿𝗓𝗏's art, of course, and they've got a lovely kind of slightly, what's the word, rough Hessian kind of canvas kind of feel to them. It's a lovely, lovely deck. So let's see what we've got for you. Number 6. Cards. I not forgot them. And you have got Magpie. 2 for joy. Magpie. The images on this deck, by the way, are a mixture of, they tend to be animal images like this. There's also moon images, so the different seasonal moons are represented. You've got number 6, you have got Magpie. Magpie. A few things come through for this. I mentioned 2 for joy, so this is an auspicious card, a good omen, as it were. So watch for good things coming your way. Be alert to them. They might be non-obvious. They might be little things. So don't neglect to notice the little things that are good and positive, that are coming forward for you and for your business. The other thing that the 2-ness of the Magpie suggests to me is the need to deal with duality in some way over the next period. So I think you might find that things in your business or your creative process kind of shift from one polarity to the other in quite rapid succession over a period of time that sometimes feels could feel rhythmic or could feel imbalanced, but isn't going to be major. There is a balance in there, although there will be shifts. It might mean that you have to shift your attention, or are having to shift your attention from one thing to another, and then back again, then back again. You might feel that you're doing a lot of multitasking. And what you're being guided to see here is that whilst you might feel, the magpies are sitting on a thorny bush, hawthorn, I think, isn't it? Or maybe it's not hawthorn, that's probably just rose. I'm not very good with my plants. But a thorny vine, anyway. I think it's wild rose, isn't it? So they're hopping about or sitting on this thorny bush, so there are thorns. You're possibly feeling a bit as though you're having to pivot from one thing to the next and having to make sure you don't put your foot in it, as it were. And you're possibly feeling a little bit worried that you're being spread too thin in having to do that. This card is guiding you to see that actually the stability that exists across those different polarities and those different circumstances and those different tasks is you. You are the stability that you are seeking within that circumstance. So don't downplay your own ability to handle this, because you can. You absolutely can. You're in a period of duality at the moment, but it will come to an end and things will synthesize. The other thing I'm getting from Magpie is you're possibly grappling with a feeling that you have got to come up with new stuff all the time. So if you're a creative person, any kind of entrepreneur basically, that is self-managed, you're possibly feeling as though you are having to come up or will have to come up with new things all the time. If you're a podcast host or a YouTube channel host, you're probably thinking, I need to come up with new ideas for my episodes every week or every 2 weeks or every month or whatever it is. And maybe you're feeling a bit stressed by that. The magpie or magpies are here to tell you it's okay to borrow. Now, I say borrow. Magpies, as we know, tend to steal. They steal things out of other birds' nests, and they steal shiny objects and things like that. Or at least that's how they're traditionally viewed. I think what this card is it's giving you a bit of a wink. The universe is giving you a wink and saying it's okay to borrow ideas. Because, and this is not about stealing other people's ideas. I'm not suggesting, and the card is not suggesting, you go and you steal somebody's YouTube script and then recreate it in your own YouTube video or any of that kind of stuff. But what you could do is look to others in your area of work to see what they're doing, see what pulls you, what attracts you, what works for them, what seems to attract clients and opportunities to them. Could you do your own version of that? Because here's the thing, if you did, the uniqueness that you seek is intrinsically there because you're unique. So whatever you bring of yourself to that endeavour will make it unique. You don't need to wait for some innovative new idea to spring up. It's okay to try on other garments that other people are wearing or have worn, because nobody will look like you look in those garments. Nobody. Not possible. So you are both the stability that you seek in this kind of dualistic time within your dualistic season within your business, and you are also the uniqueness that you're seeking in terms of your content, your services, your offers, whatever it is. That is what Magpie has to say to you, number 6. Okay, last one, number 7. Number 7, and this deck is, I've had this deck for quite a while, and actually it's been re-released I think under a different name. So it's the Wicker deck by Sally Morningstar. I definitely do a walkthrough of this deck on my channel, and again I will link that below. I think it's been re-released as the Witch's Oracle, something like that. Same deck, same cards, and that's the back with the pentacle on the back. So I'm surrounded by cards here. I'm trying to not get them muddled up. Let's see what this deck has got to say to you, number 7, for your creative business. Okay, cut the cards, and you've got Bell, Awakening, Bell, and it seems to be a little pixie, I suppose that would be, with a bluebell hat in a field of bluebells, with a hare sitting on a grassy mound. And that's the element symbolic, the symbol for the element of air. Sunshine and blue sky, lush trees. There's lovely images and colours in this deck. The Bell, Awakening. Okay, so you, number 7, are beginning, if you haven't already begun, to find your voice. You're waking up to the fact that you have got something to say and something to share that is of deep value to other people. Now, either you know that already, or as you hear me say it, you're recognizing that you are pleasantly unsurprised by that idea. And that's because you have got something of value to share, and you're being called to ring your bell. Ring, as Anita Ward said in the 70s, ring my bell. You're being called to ring your bell, your temple bell, that calls out to others and attracts them. So, I suspect that you are someone who needs to find clients, needs to find customers. And if you've been struggling with that, I suspect that probably it's because you are not ringing your bell loud enough, and you're not being quirky enough in the ringing of your bell. Now, by the way, by that I don't mean pretending to be quirky. What I mean is being authentic, so allowing your natural quirks to show through. You're possibly thinking a bit too rigidly about how you should show up online. You know, when I work with coaching clients, I teach them a process of, I call it the 4 S's. Show up, stand out, serve, and sell. Show up, stand out, serve, and sell. Meaning, you need to show up in this online space if you're ever going to attract people to you. You need to stand out, not by actively being different to everyone else, but just by being yourself, because you already are different to everyone else, and being yourself fully and unapologetically and lovingly and openly. And oh my goodness, that is the most attractive thing ever. And doing that, just by doing that, you are serving, but also you are able to serve more, because by doing that you will have attracted the right people to you. It's like a signal that you send out, and the right people are attracted to you, and then you can serve them. And you serve them in a whole host of different ways. Selling to them in terms of the financial bit is quite far down that line, although it can happen quite early on. But there's lots of ways you serve them before you ever sell something to them of monetary value. Although they're all purchasing things from you before they ever spend any money. If they spend attention on you or time, then you've already got customers, you've got clients. Many of my clients and many of the people I coach in group settings and so on are quite surprised when I say to them, they say things to me like, I don't have any clients, I've never had a client, and I say that's not true. And then I show them that they actually have hordes of clients. If they have been of service in any way online in terms of sharing content that's useful or ideas, then they have got clients. Anyone who has spent a minute of their life watching you is a client. Anyone who has given you an iota of their attention is a client. And those who stick around, the ones who are perfect fit clients for you, who have answered your call, answered that bell you've been ringing, those that stick around are going to go on to become customers and repeat customers and loyal clients and raving fans. That's how all that works. So you are either in that process now or you are stepping into that process. And the process is an invitation to ring your bell, to be more of yourself online, to wake up to the fullness of yourself online so that you wake up other people to the fullness and greatness of what you have to offer. And the first thing any of us has to offer in any of these spaces is ourselves. So if you're offering yourself online, that's your first and best ever offer. And there'll be lots of other offers that will follow after that, of course. But I think that this card is calling you to show up, stand out, serve and sell. The air element is interesting because I suspect that means that you also are someone who is here to share knowledge, to convey knowledge, probably through words. So in writing maybe, or in speaking like this. So just have a think about how best you can show up, serve and sell. And I will put a link in the comments below. I have a free guide called 41 Ways to Create New Clients, or more clients, new clients I think, which is, as the name suggests, 41 ways to connect with people online and to potentially create clients, because that's what happens. We don't just find clients. Clients don't just stumble into us. We create them, and we create them by sharing ourselves online, which is what you are being invited to do. Number 7. Wow, that is it. That is the intuitive reading, numbers 1 to 7. Thank you very much for spending this time with me. I hope that you found this useful. I suspect I will do something like this again because I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I have a knowingness that this is of value to a lot of people. So I invite you to rewatch the number that you selected. I'll put the timestamps below. I invite you to feel free to watch all the numbers and see if you can take any golden nuggets from those, because they will be there. And I mentioned in number 7's reading that I have a free guide, 41 Ways to Create New Clients, which is linked below. And also I'd like to just remind you that I'm offering a free workshop on abundance and prosperity in soul-based businesses like yours and mine. And that's on the 19th of May, Friday the 19th of May on Zoom. You can sign up at the link below for that, and hopefully you're able to attend live. If you attend live, then you'll be able to participate in the group exercise that I do. If you can't attend live, that's absolutely fine. You will be sent the recording. You just sign up at the link below, and either way you will be able to participate in Prosper, Grow Your Abundant Coaching Business. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I'll see you again very soon. I love you all, and take care of yourselves. Bye for now.